Alright everybody, welcome to another league with Reclamation. This time around we're going to be playing some bug, okay? So we are cutting the red cards, we're adding black cards instead. So the black cards of course are Fatal Push, Collective Brutality, Ashiok Nightmare Muse. This one's actually pretty sweet, I'm hoping that it actually works out. And then a couple of sweepers in Plague of Engineer and Dead of Winter. I copied this list from the internet, I don't even know where I copied this from. But there's a lot of things that this deck is not playing that maybe we should be playing. That is Arab Decay / Assassin's Trophy, considering how we got completely owned in the previous league by 3 Fairy. It wouldn't surprise me that we should definitely be playing some number of those cards. But again, I just copied this off the internet and I didn't really put too much thought into it. What I know though is that I'm gonna be mulliganing this in. Don't need to think too much about that one. Let's go to 5. Actually, this is a pretty reasonable 5. So we can bottom the Sanctuary, and I guess we bottom that. Bubble. Probably some Shadow. Yep. Growth Spiral. So I'm playing the Delta because we can actually go get the Triumph. We do have a Sagot Triumph in our deck. Okay, so this sounds just like some normal Shadow deck. So I think I'm just gonna pass the turn here. We might be remanding whatever my opponent plays, or we might be just pushing this. Bolt themselves. Honestly, not a weird line. Not a weird line because they don't play Shadow. Just gonna remand here just to cycle and sweet. Udo would be a great draw. You love to see it. You love to see it. I think I'm just gonna main phase push here, just in case they're maybe playing. I don't know what they could be playing, like Stub. In case of Stub, break the glass, you know. They're missing land drops, so I think I want to try to capitalize on this. Alright, we did draw a push, which is great. They found the fetch line, which sucks. Probably gonna attack. And I guess I'm gonna have to block, because if they have TBR, we actually die. So here, at least we force the trade, and then we can push the Shadow, and then we can use the Factor Fiction. Oh, they did have Stub. There we go. All right. Well, good thing that I blocked then. So I guess I'm gonna upkeep. And I'm going to push Shadow. If they have stop, we lose, right? Yes. Growth spiral. They have the stop. I guess that we could draw into exactly force. Nope, not that one. Not that one either. Alright, we're dead. It's so safe to get a missing sector is a stupid card. Yep, I wholeheartedly agree. It really is. It really is messed up. It really is messed up. I guess Remand is really shitty in this matchup. I guess I'd rather have Gust. Get rid of Goif. It's kind of brutal how my opponent needed to have exactly all of the cards in order to win that game. Like, if they hadn't hit the land drop exactly on the turn that they did, we would have won. If they hadn't been able to fetch for the blue source and had the stab on the nail, we would have won. If they hadn't had the second shadow, we would have won. Like, they needed literally everything, and they needed for us to not hit land drops when we didn't. It's always rough when that happens. Seems like a tough keep. Yeah, but like this hand has a plan, right? Like my opponent cannot poke a hole in this hand. As long as I hit my land drops, I think that I'm probably gonna be in fine shape. The downside is I can just not hit my land drops, but I imagine Archmage's Charm is what's gonna go. Green or black source. Fetch land would be great. Uro is not great. So if we don't hit land drops, again, like this continues to be the story of this deck, right? It's just like, did you hit your land drops? Yes, then things are gonna be fine. Did you miss your land drops? You're just gonna lose. And there's not, like, this is how this deck is constructed, right? It's just the way the cookie crumbles. Nile Spellbomb is kind of annoying. Black Source? Brutal. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, so everything that my opponent is doing right now, it's only able to do it because of my deck just not functioning. Which maybe it was a reason for me to want to mulligan the other hand. For me to want to mulligan this hand, but it's just like we have so many lands. we have so many lands, we have so many cantrips, but we just whiffed. I thought that hand was fine. Like, double push is great. Factor Fiction was also great. Double Growth Spiral was also great. Like, all of those cards are just good cards. But I'm already, like, after playing this couple of games, I'm already thinking about, for example, I feel like I would like I feel like I would like access to these cards. The pushes were nice, but you couldn't cast anything. Yeah, again, like my opponent had turn 1 discard into turn 2 shadow. Like that's gonna be tough to cut for me to beat regardless, right? Like if I mulligan and I mulligan to 5 like I did game 1. Did I mulligan to 5 game? I think I mulligan to 5. Maybe I mulligan to 6. But yeah. Whoever joked about us playing any less than 26 lands. We have 26 lands, right? Like we have to hit land drops. We have to hit land drops. Yeah, boy, MK. Thank you for the follow. One non-island land. Even with a land, even with an island land, it would have been great because we had access to the charm. Then my opponent thought this is the charm, of course. I mean, same thing. If my opponent doesn't put a shadow in play, we have time to draw out of it, right? And give it enough time. That hand was probably bound to be to come together. But yeah, I mean, my opponent had a good hand and a hand that was. I mean, that's what the shadow deck does, right? Like it punishes people stumbling. That's just what it does. If it couldn't do that, then it wouldn't be a playable deck. But yeah, that's just kind of the name of the game. Is this blue moon? Is this? I don't even know what this is. This could be blue moon. This could be, I guess, yeah. I mean, it could still be a bad prowess hand. This could be storm, although it's less likely that it's storm. I'm putting my opponent on blue moon. Can we hit land drops? Land. Well, fuck me, I guess. Again, missing land drops. The story of this, at this point, the story of this archetype. to be honest, the story of this archetype at this point. F's in chat. F's in chat. I guess I'm going to end step Archmage's Charm. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be discarding this Fatal Push. They're definitely on Blue Moon. So I guess I'm going to be fetching for a basic island. There's also an argument for discarding Nexus, but I think that this is potentially better down the line. Unbanned Ponder, yeah, I know, right? Clearly, this not hitting land drops cannot continue happening. Can I please draw 2, opponent? May I please draw 2? Pretty please. Remand. It's gross. Can I hit my land drops? No, I cannot. How insane is that? How fucking ridiculous is that? Oh my. Should I put them on breach or should I put them on thing in the ice? Should put some cyber lands. That is exactly what I'm missing. That is exactly what I'm missing. Some cyborg lands. We're gonna hit land drops, chat. Are we gonna be able to hit some fucking land drops this time around? What do you say? I think I'm gonna get Triome, and then I'm gonna be playing around Blood Moon with the rest of my lands. Time to get flooded! Yeah. I like how you're no longer a Sultai deck post board. Yeah, we're just blue-green. Should shuffle my deck better? Maybe. Oops. Maybe this one will matter. Maybe I should have bought this. I'm honestly looking for stuff like Veil, things like that at this point. Sure. So now Blood Moon should no longer be an issue. That's an okay Snapcaster there. I think I'm gonna end step Bouncer Steam Vents here. Unless they go to discard. If they go to discard, then... Well, I guess if they go to discard, it's even more of a reason for me to do something. Temple Cryptic. Mystical Dispute, that's fine. Sure. Nothing like some good old Aether Gusts. Nothing like some good old Aether Gusts. Opponent with their silly disputes and stuff. This game is not developing nicely. If they have Remand for their own Archmage's Charm. But like, what am I supposed to do, right? Like, we just drew 2 of our Aether Gusts, which are literally the only one. I didn't want to go all in on Aether Gusts because I didn't know how good they were gonna be, and we drew 2. We drew both of them. And my opponent is playing all of their blue cards, and they are drawing their disputes instead. So we're falling further and further behind just by being here. Yeah, they remand their own Aether Gust. I think I'm just gonna concede here. Like, they are ahead on board, they're ahead. The only thing that we're slightly ahead on is on mana, and it just doesn't matter. So I'd rather just go on to the next game. I don't like this deck. I think I am considering just dropping and like trying to, if I'm going to be playing this deck, just build it a little bit better, because it feels like it's missing some, it's missing something. It's missing something for sure. We could also just play like Bug Control without using Reclamation. Alright, finally we see an actually very good hand. Moxopa should come back. Ursa is worthless now. I mean, the fact that they banned both Moxopa and Astrolabe was a little bit too much for Ursa. I agree with that. Like, they should have... Yeah, they went a little bit too hard. They went a little bit too hard, and now... I mean, people were complaining about Ursa, remember? People were complaining about Ursa. I still remember that LSV video where he's making an argument for banning Death Shadow. Remember, Chad? Those were the times. Fatal Push? Said that because Claim to Fame was going to be pretty... Oh yeah, Claim to Fame. Classic Claim to Fame. A card that nobody ever played. If Wizards want a man opal, they're just cowards. No arguments there. Alright, so this is just good old Jando. Foff should be pretty solid against good old Jando. That's what I'm talking about. How many Mystic Sanctuaries do we got? Just the 2? Definitely important to keep that in mind. are some interesting piles. I think I'm gonna push Scavenging Ooze here, right? Alright, another blank. Not great. So we can... Yeah, we should be able to push both, right? So push Ooze. Sanctuary back, Fatal Push. I would love to be Sanctuary back, Foff, but unfortunately I think we have to do this. Because I would like to kill this Bob right now. We're out of Mystic Sanctuaries, so that sucks. But at least we are super ahead on board, on mana. And yeah. Bloodbraid. Bloodbraid's pretty good. Bloodbraid's pretty good. Lightning Bolt. Okay, so there's multiple cards here. Like if I find Uro, we just win, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, if I find Uro, we just win. So it's fine then, Uro. Another Foff would be pretty solid as well. Yeah, keep those because we could just main phase the. Jeez, all right. Wow. Now that is some flood. Am I supposed to just keep the growth spiral here? Because like Jace is not even that good, right? Like I mean, it is. If they have a Thoughtseize, we get completely wrecked. No, there are no more sanctuaries. We mill the first sanctuary to the Foff. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna choose this, which is crazy. But I just don't want to get completely destroyed by a stupid, like a Thoughtseize, right? If my opponent has Thoughtseize, they kind of just win there, right? You always take the 4/1. I mean, I don't think you always take the 4/1, but in this case, I think it's correct to do. Scavenging Ooze. Alright, so we kind of have to find... We have to find Uro this turn, kind of. Because after this turn, my opponent's going to have access to Skoos. We can play around Skoos. There we go. Let's get a Breeding Pool tapped. One, two, three. Udo, we have to make sure that we stack our triggers properly. Oh my god. This is pretty ridiculous. Okay, so this is a 5/6. So we have to exile the Walker and then all the lands, I guess. Yeah, they might have main deck playing. That's what I was playing around. We have barely any decks left in the deck, in our 26 land deck. Which is pretty funny. The funniest thing, however, is like Udo came down and like everything that my opponent did up until this point doesn't matter anymore. Like that's it. Just like Udo came down. Like that's end of the story. That's the end of the story. Udo came down, nothing else mattered. So I think I'm just gonna tap here. We already used the Jace. Fourth, number 3. They can't split like this. Is Sura simply very good or a bannable card based on your gameplay with and against him? It's a bannable card. I think. I think we're going to be pushing this Scavenging Ooze. Now that they are tapping out here, that's interested in pushing now. There's 2 more cryptics that we're drawing towards, so it's 4, 5, 6, 7. It's no even remotely close to enough. Yeah, this game is just over. I don't think my opponent can do anything. I mean, the problem with Udo is that like all of these decks are now just worthless, right? Like these mid-range decks just don't matter anymore. There's nothing they can do. I think we can actually cast this Factor Fiction. And that's why. All right, I'll draw 4. Would you say the mid-range deck Surgical might be worth playing? I don't think so, no. Surgical is just such a bad card, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drawing Surgical in a mid-range matchup is just... Oh, the last card is a basic swamp, brutal. Well... Oh shit. Keep this one. Alright. Whew! I almost sweat there. I almost sweat there. Alright. Only 13 card left. Oh yeah, we're getting there. It just doesn't matter. Like, it's... Uro came down and nothing my opponent did anymore just mattered. Like, that was it. That's it. Stephanie. So remains pretty bad against Jund, particularly on the draw. I think I'm keeping the pushes. My opponent showed me Bob, which is not standard in Jund. But the presence of Bob makes me want to keep the pushes. Oh, my cards are so good. Guess 3 Gust, 3 pushes. This would be so much easier if I had access to Abrupt Decay, which is a card that I think that this deck is lacking, which is potentially important. Keep. But yeah, it's kind of silly. Like, Jund, I don't know what your plan is, right? If you're playing Jund and you get paired against this deck, it's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, I really don't know. Like, what's the plan? what are you supposed to do if your opponent is playing this deck? Don't play Ren. Crap. I mean, you're gonna get a lot of value from this guy, but it's not the end of the world. I could also draw step, gust it. I think I'm not gonna. I'm gonna end step gust it instead. Wilderness is pretty backbreaking in control deck. Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's pretty alright. Liliana. The question is, do I growth spiral or do I gust? I think I'm gonna growth spiral. Good choice, me. Good choice. Thank you for that follow, Hung Daddy. What's up, bruh? What is up? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to next turn I'm just gonna let my opponent's Liliana enable my Uro. Cool, if it's good. And this turn we're gonna be able to. Next turn we're gonna be able to cast Uro, and we can protect it with Veil. Sanctuary, put Cryptic on top. Yes. The only way that we get owned here is if my opponent has exactly Boil this turn. Which is not impossible. Definitely not impossible for them to have Boil here. So if they have Boil, we actually lose. 3 or 4 Gravediggers, Cage versus Uro. I don't think that you should be playing those, no. But if their line is play Liliana minus, I think we're going to win pretty easily from here. Choke. That's annoying, but we have access to Aether Gust. Like, Boil would be a lot worse for us. Well, this is kind of the nuts. So now we push here. We get to keep the Ren in check. Then my opponent is going to play Liliana now. They're going to get to... They're going to get to answer the Uro, but on my end step, I'm just going to choke. I'm going to gust the choke. And then we can Cryptic it. We could also just Veil here. Nah, I think it's better for us to take care of the choke. What if they Power Blast the Gust? That would suck. I mean, they could Veil. Oh, no, no, not that one, but this one. We do it while they cannot Veil me. And also they would shuffle it away. If they have a second choke, we'd get owned here, but we actually cannot beat a second choke. Because they haven't played a land drop for turn just yet. All right, sweet. What's going on here? It's gonna be a K command. Make you discard, get back my Goyf. So we're gonna get to Veil. We can actually get back Uro this turn. Oh, Uro, you silly, silly magic card. You silly, silly magic card. So we want to discard the land here. Thank you for the follower, C Fusion PM. Inquisition. It sucks. Alright, push down. If I had discarded push, the Inquisition would have whiffed, which would have been great. So now they're going to play Goif. Oh, they activated Lily already, that's true. Foff. Let's start with that one, I guess. This is how we do in Argentina. Let's choose this file. So they want to block with the Goif, that's fine. It's a nice little Champerino. We get to Veil the Liliana activation. Would it not have been better to not cast the Veil, discard a card to gain command? That way you can hold up a Veil to protect Uro. Well, I'm trying to dig a little bit deeper, right? Like I want to know what I'm drawing. Like they literally knew about this Veil, so now they lock themselves for the turn. Bloodbraid. It's pretty good. It's pretty good for them. Bolt. That's whatever. When is it okay to feel bad for Jund players? I mean, is it ever? We good here, I think. Is there anything I want to draw? Another Cryptic. I think John does bad Niv. I mean, it's kind of, yeah. It's kind of because like it just doesn't grind as well as Niv, and it basically has the same downsides that Niv has, but the upside is just lower. I mean, I guess the John, if very, very rarely you get to kill somebody on like turn 4 or 5 with like a turn 2 Goif into turn 4 into turn 3 Goif or something, draw, and the Goifs just grow very, very large. So like you do have some very, very rare situations where, you know, like you can capitalize on John's like aggressive plan or something, but it's not even that good of an aggressive plan. So it is pretty weird. It is pretty weird. Like it's just in such a strange spot, right? In terms of what your deck is trying to accomplish. What a most 5. bit more impressed with the Timur version of this than the Sultai version. Too many gust around for any green or red creature to be effective. That's just not true. There are some good green, like for example, like Swift Spear is really good still. Whenever gust is trading down on mana, that's when you want to. That's where you want to be. You know, that's when you're making gust bad. Now, if you're trading down, on mana, that means that you have like 1-drops. So just 1-drops are the only option, basically. Another blue deck. So let's sit back, relax, get ready for another blue mirror. Played so many of these today. It's a good one. Green, blue. Speaking of good ones. Maybe I shouldn't have played the Misty there. I should have played the island instead. I mean, we're gonna find another fetch land. Yeah. We just have to let them draw 2 there because they still could have access to Teferi, right? And we cannot beat the Teferi, so we just have to make sure that we keep on keeping on. Yeah, should have definitely played. That force was very good. That force was very good for sure, because like it doesn't allow me to like start using Cryptic to Mystic Sanctuary, sorry, to start looping forces, FOFs, sorry. So I think we're gonna draw 2 on end step. Sweet. Shark. So we're going to FOF on end step. And then it's possible that we remainder on FOF. How are we doing? Started good, then the wheels fell off a little bit. Remand my own FOF. I think it's worth it to force this Archmage's Charm. Like, this means we get to draw a card, we get to resolve a fact or fiction, and they get to discard their thing. Put our Mage's Charm on top. Again, playing our own Baby Tef. Let's fucking go. You want to do this? I'm ready. This only equips on a creature you control, so that's why it fizzles, which is kind of awkward, but isn't that dope? Alright, definitely looking for Fatal Push style card here. So I think I'm actually not going to put anything on top, because I actually want to find, like, I want to keep the things in my Mystic Sanctuary in my deck because of Fatal Push. You definitely don't want to split like this, let me tell you. Well. Oof. Two, three, four. Hase. Oh, hello. Boop. If they are to cast Batter Skull, I don't counter it, because there's a push on top of my deck. Thanks for the free shuffle, and okay, so we play land, so we're gonna bottom this and this. Then we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna play Nexus. We're gonna get to remand whatever. We're gonna get to remand this Force or Negation. Mwah. This is probably gonna be a concession from OP, I would assume. Or not. It's also fine. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Guess who has 7 mana and the Nexus of Fate? This guy. Where are my Uros? I would like to finish this game, please. Can I please be done with this game? Please and thank you. An annoying deck to play against. Yeah, somehow we're ahead on time. GTFO. Where are my freaking Uros? Is what I wonder. Udo? Can we please finish this game a little bit more quickly? Nope. I still have 3 Uros in my deck. There we go. Now we are talking. So 1, 2, 3. Udo. Let's play this. Green, green, blue, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4. Rec. Green, 2, 3. So this, keep this. All right. Counter target spell, return target permanent to its owner's hand. There we go. Players may concede at any time, right? I feel like brutality is okay. You have literal 0 answers to Teferi. Like, what the hell is going on with this deck? Who built this deck? Deck needs more sharks. Yeah, more sharks, more abrupt decays. All of those would be nice things. Like if the fairy hits the table, we cannot remove it. Like that's it. It's there. Now we just have to like Ashiok minus or something. Which is probably not what you want to be doing. We also have no mystical disputes, which means that like if our opponent goes turn 2 Teferi, turn 4 Teferi with backup, we have no way to do anything. Like it's going to resolve. I guess like we could remand and we could Veil of Summer or something, but Okay. Sure. I guess we just have to answer it on the stack. It's the only way. My opponent playing for that f6 value like a champ. We're gonna need this up to do some work for us. I mean, that sucks, but we have to keep it. Like, we just cannot afford to miss any land drops. Shark for 1. V-click! Wow. I still remember when Vendilion Click was like a $70 card. Like, this was just a hardcore modern staple. And it just disappeared. Like, it completely fell off the face of the earth. Crazy. I mean, I'll attempt to remand. My opponent's gonna counter it. Or not. So we're going to play a wreck here. And hope that they don't have force. And we have no way to trigger what's his name, so we actually have to do this right now to trigger revolt. So if they have a land, we're actually in trouble. Yep, that's fucked up. And they don't have perfect information, but like, I assume that they're gonna go for it. If we top deck a remand or something, we completely blow them out, so maybe they won't. I feel like if I were in their shoes, I would probably just go for it. Jace. That's a lot better. That's a lot better. So we're gonna have access to a lot of mana. So we have that going for us. We have that going for us. So I think I'm probably gonna main phase this Factor Fiction. Or is it more important? I think it might be more important for me to make sure that I'm hitting my land drop. So I'm just going to Udo instead. So we do this. There's a remand on top. I'm gonna Factor Fiction. We're gonna have to remand this sword, so... Oh, I'm stupid. I should have tapped this. Yikes. Because I definitely wanted to keep this untapped because of Fluffy. Thank you for the raid. Party of 7. Welcome everybody from Fluffy Stream. We're playing some Bug Reclamation. Today we'll be testing a bunch of Reclamation decks. How was your stream? Thank you for the follow, Gross. So as I was saying, I wanted to keep the green source because we could have drawn Veil of Summer. We could have a Factor Fiction into Veil. So we definitely wanted to keep the green source, but I punt it by using this, basically. And there was another follow. Oh, Fluffy, thank you for the follow. Forced to follow. Oh, my bad. My bad. Sorry for making you follow, Fluffy. Well, I think I'm gonna FOF here and instead. My opponent can counter it, but it's kind of whatever if they do. And they did not. Man, imagine not countering a Fact or Fiction. Green Squirrels and Scarab got blue eye. Oh, you played some... You played some drafts? How's the new format? It looks fun. Well, we're definitely taking this pile. I'd rather have the 1-mana Cryptic instead of the 4-mana Cryptic, if you asked me. So we 1, 2, 3, 4 Udo. We have Remand the Growth Spiral. Udo, take a land, 1 FOF, Growth Spiral, land, and opt. Sure. Giving me more mana for whatever reason. Decent, get a bomb, win all games. That sounds like a good plan. Sounds like a good, solid plan there. Remand that? Blue, blue, blue. Oh, I should have... very stupid. Should have floated a green there. I have a Growth Spiral sitting in my hand. Punt! Whew. Sweet. Six, 7, 8, 9. Why didn't I Nexus? Oh, that's true. I had enough mana. Well, because I'm stupid. That's why I didn't Nexus. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Call on the target spell, draw a card. So at this point, because they actually cast the Cryptic, now the Veil does draw me a card. Oh wow. Just bullying my opponent here. Just completely destroying them. Just making punts left and right, and it just doesn't matter. Feels good, not gonna lie. Double force would punish. Yeah, I don't think that my opponent has double force. It would have to have been double force plus double blue card, I guess. We just don't care about that thing, right? They also put Cryptic on top and then they shuffle. So interesting. Interesting place. So I think we want to put Veil on top, right? They have a fairy and you have a Titan who wins. That's true. That's actually true. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna draw 2 on end step because I am. I guess they could have Path to Exile. I guess that's why they tanked right there, is because they realized that they couldn't do anything there. So I think I should play around Path though. So on my upkeep, I'm going to Mystic Sanctuary back, Veil. I guess I could Mystic Sanctuary Cryptic, that seems better. We have infinite mana at this point, so... And I'm going to attack Jace first. See what they do. You have so much mana. Opt helps. Opt is good to go. We get another turn. So I guess I'm gonna draw 2 now. Attack Jace. Play a land. Play a land. One, two, three, four. Return permanent. Draw a card. And that's it. This should be game. And now I guess I'm gonna Cryptic, bounce Mystic Sanctuary. Gonna get that going. Opponent concedes. Alright, somehow we beat the Teferi deck with the deck that cannot beat Teferi. All you need is for your opponent to actually not draw their Teferi. It's pretty straightforward. We saw the line. We saw the line. We don't need answers to Teferi. Nope, clearly not. Clearly no need for answers to Teferi. You can just have your opponent never draw it. Infinite mana and counter spells unstoppable. I mean, what else could you ever want, right? What else could you ever want? Win conditions? Not here. Not on my watch. All you need is three win conditions in the entire deck, that's it. And your win conditions are also ramp. Of course, because why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it also be ramp? These leagues have been hella long though. There's also banned Reclamation. I have no idea where I copied this list from, but this is probably the next thing that we're going to be playing. Is this another deck that doesn't have any answers to... It does strike me as a deck that doesn't have any answers to Teferi. Sure, let's keep this. Temple Garden. Very interesting. Not sure where I'm gonna grow Spiral here or push plus soft. I guess it depends on what my opponent does here. Well, I guess I'm gonna grow Spiral. Blue, green. Land off the top, land off the top, land off the top, land off the top, land off the top. Never lucky. Cannot believe somebody was out there saying that I should be cutting lands, because there was no way that I was going to have mana issue with 27 lands. So if this is a baby Tef, I think we just pack it in, right? Alright, that's Uro. Not as bad. Because memory lapse is not modern legal. Land. Alright. I mean, the good thing is that my opponent's hand does not seem to be too great either, but it doesn't need to be, because I'm just missing land drops. Katria Triumph, that's interesting. Land. Alright, I'm just gonna concede. We can continue playing this game, but at this point my opponent is way too far ahead for us to be able to catch up. So, Veils. Ashiox. Maybe a couple of gusts, but not too many. Pushes can go. All right. Nice hand, as long as we keep our land drops and shit. Keep hitting our land drops, I mean. Still a hand that cannot beat a turn 3 Teferi. When my opponent's showing me the Kitri Triumph, I'm assuming that there are no Stoneforges involved in my opponent's list. That's why I cut the pushes. It's possible they might have snakes. I really doubt it, but it's possible. But I'm pretty sure that they don't have Stoneforge. Good art opt, good art polluted delta, awful art breeding pool. You can't have them all, I guess. So we're playing against a Reclamation deck, which I guess makes sense. Green, blue. blue. Opt. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's actually good enough for us to keep. Damn it. Land, please. Land! Breaking a sweat here. The classic growth spiral mirror match. I wonder what's the red for. Lands. Lance. Alright. I think we're just gonna end up in a turn off, protected with Veil. Actually, Uro is better. No. Actually, putting Uro in the yard is bad for us. Oh, this one's really tough. This is probably the worst. Let's do this, which this cuts them off lands and the remand. Yeah. Because it says an opponent, it doesn't say target. And the wording matters a lot. Yeah, so that way they did bin both of the lands. Which is probably good for us. Just realized we have no answers to field either. So there's actually no way that we can win this game. Like, it's actually not possible for us to win this game. Because they have Field of the Dead and we don't. And we actually have 0 answers to Field of the Dead in our deck. Alright. Alright. Well, I guess that's our win condition. We're missing land drops though, so we're probably not gonna get there, but it is a win condition. I'm gonna attempt to remand. It's probably not gonna work. They have Veil or Mystical Dispute. Yep, they have Veil. And we don't have Dispute, so we're actually not drawing towards anything here. So I'm just gonna let that resolve. Okay, so they trigger zombies, they get Veil back. All sorts of bad news. All sorts of bad news. This is awkward. Is a card you dislike more than Uro? Yes, there is one for me, which is this one. I think I dislike Mystic Sanctuary more than I dislike Uro. I guess I'm gonna try to Uro next turn. And if they have their own Ash up, we are going to back it in. But yeah, the fact that they have fielded it and we don't is just... If they didn't have a Planeswalker going, maybe we could like chain Cryptics or something, but as is, seems pretty tough to achieve. Honestly, I kind of want to try out opponent's decks. I kind of want to try out what my opponent's doing over there. Yeah, just like any land or anything is just good draws for them. Oh, that one is pretty good too. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna go see it here. All right, what did we learn? This deck cannot beat, or is it Bug Reclamation? This deck cannot beat Teferi, so it like finding answers to Teferi seems like a necessary thing to be trying out. So Decay / Trophy. Maybe you can cut one push at Decays instead. Maybe you can actually add Field of the Dead to this deck. The problem is you probably cannot play more than one. You can play it similar to the Timur one that we played earlier. So, like, we just play some more lands and we kind of fix the issue, quote unquote, by just adding more lands. This is the other list that I copied, but this list sounds horrible. Like 24 lands is definitely not enough. So like I have no idea where I copied this from, but this is just not a good list. I can, just by looking at it, this is just not a good list. Um, so we can cut that. Also feels like we have only a single forest. I don't know how much I feel about that. How good I feel about that. Add more lands, classic amulet player. Yeah, all your problems just get solved by adding more lands. That's the amulet way. But yeah, so some answers to the fairy and placewalkers and stuff. Maybe there's a way to add a field here. So we add island. Boom, boom. We have, oh, normal forest. Boom. And I'm gonna add a swamp because I like the art of the swamp better than the snow covered swamp. There we go, better. Modern amulet player are trying to be legacy lands players. Yeah, I mean that doesn't actually work that way. That's what I assumed. Like when I first started playing Legacy, that's like one of the very first decks that I gravitated towards. But even though the lands deck is doing cool stuff with its lands, it plays out very, very, very differently than Amulet does. Like you just have a completely different game plan, right? The lands deck in Legacy is it's a prison deck. Steam Band, Stomping Ground, the last zone. So I guess that the card that I'm missing here is Blast Zone and one Overgrown too. There. So now that we have that going on, add Jace, pushes the case, growth spirals. It's a very effective prison deck. Yeah, it is, but what I'm saying is like it has nothing to do with Amulet. The first time that I look at the deck, I kind of gravitated towards it because of the same reason. You know, you're like, oh yeah, Lance. Like Lance does cool things with its lands. It makes sense that I would like to play that. And in reality, that's just not the thing. That's just not the way it works out. Dispute. A couple of rejections. Cut a gust. Should we leave it? Yeah, I guess we should play Dead of Winter. Oh, no, we shouldn't. We actually cut the... we cut all the snowland, so no, we should not play Dead of Winter. So we actually have no sweepers. We could play Plague Engineer. Against Gobos and stuff. If they kill it, like, we have no way to recur it, so I don't know how effective that actually is. Let's just play Damnation. An oldie but a goodie. An oldie but a goodie. I mean, are there even decks that the nation is good against nowadays? Like goblins? Field of Ruin is there. Alright, so let's try it with this and see what's up. Alright, if you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video coming up very soon.